Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Opposite Sides of the Spectrum. If you are new, I am Lauryn, and today Tiara is not with me, so I took this time to do another solo episode. If you all remember, with my previous podcast with Tiara and another good friend of mine, Alana, I have not done a sit-down check-in since March of 2023 when I cut my hair. And y'all, a lot has happened in 2 years. I decided to go this approach again because sometimes I'm not comfortable being open and very fully transparent with those that I don't know when it comes to solely me. And what I've learned over the years is that audio recordings is a good way to be more emotionally open and engaged with yourself, because essentially you're having conversations with yourself, which is what this is. So yes, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm also talking to myself. So this is going to be an unedited, raw video of just where Lauryn is at right now, at 28 years of age, just mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. There's just so many things that's going on there. Of course, I cannot fit into this one video, but I did want to share a little insight of what's been going on in my mind and how I feel. So, as I'm sure y'all have all known, I did move November of last year, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because I want to do a full moving horror story when I move out in July. But to say the least, I know 2025 has been a rough year for a lot of people. And for me personally, this year has had its ups and downs. I think the good is starting to outweigh the bad, but the bad is still kind of neck and neck in certain areas of my life, if you get what I'm saying. I will say, to start out with, the place that I'm residing in has by far been the worst place I think that I've lived in since I've been in college. And I have not moved that much, but I will say this. All the changes and all the situations and experiences that I've gone through this year, I honestly needed to go through in order to grow as a person. I'm the type of person, and once again, I'm talking about me, so please do not feel offended when I say this, but when I feel like I'm comfortable and I'm happy, I get lazy. And I'm trying to navigate the nuances of myself, of being still a creative person and having that creative drive, but still being happy and comfortable in where I am. I think since moving here, I contemplated about renewing my lease. And those of y'all who know, because my friends and my family know what's been going on since I moved in. I know that sounds crazy to say. And I know some of you are like, what are you talking about, Lauryn? Like, you have not said now one good thing about this place. And yes, it has not been great. But I will say my creativity has been the best that it's been in a very, very long time. And those of you who know me, I'm a very creative person, whether it's with my writing, whether that's music, poetry, other creative ideas I have that I'm starting on, things that I've wanted to do since 2023, I'm just now starting in this space. And I know the reason behind that is because when I'm uncomfortable, I have no choice but to lean into that change. And I'm the type of person where I'm very stubborn. And even though I know I might need to make changes in my life, I will not do it until life does it for me. Which I would advise to do it yourself if you know it's something you need to do, rather than life doing it. Because at least when you have the control to do it, it's not life controlling you, essentially. But yeah, my creativity here has been amazing. And those of you who are creatives out there, how do you feel about that? Do you feel for you, you will sacrifice your happiness to allow your creativity to thrive? Or do you just lean into your creativity wherever you are in your life? Or is your creativity good in both a healthy and a non-healthy space area in your life? So that might be a poll, a question that I have for all my creatives out there. Whether that's, it doesn't matter what area you're creative, whether it's visual, food, it doesn't matter. So I just want to get y'all's opinion, but yeah, y'all, I'm working on some things with myself, and yes, though my creativity has been thriving and it's opened me up to things that I have not done in a long time, I know I cannot stay here for my sake and my well-being. I cannot put myself on the back burner, which is something I've done a lot of in my life. And I know I'm only 28 years old, but once again, I think I've learned a lot in this short period of time. And this year has also taught me that it's time to go back to therapy. It is time to go back to therapy. I don't think I've really talked a lot about therapy on the podcast, but my first time going to therapy was in 2021. I think, 2021. And it was an okay first start. I think the therapist I had was a good start, but I just felt like I was not growing and I was not getting what I needed out of that. So after about 8 months, I quit. And then I found another therapist, I want to say the beginning of 2023. And I felt like this therapist was more suitable for me. But once again, around that 8-month mark, things started getting really, I don't know if weird is the right word, but certain things wasn't lining up. So I stopped going to therapy right when I felt like it was getting good, or I was talking about the nitty gritty. So I am in the process of looking for a third therapist, y'all. And this time I would like for my sessions to go for at least a full year. That's my goal when I check back into therapy. Reasons why I know I need to be back in therapy. The end of last year was rough for me. It was rough. And when I say rough, I mean there were family issues, personal issues, just a lot of things going on that I did not have the capacity, and I think I'm still fighting for my life when it comes to having the capacity to pour into myself. And my mood swings have been horrible. When I'm stressed or there's so many changes that I'm struggling to process, I shut down really, really bad. And from last year up until, I want to say last month, I've really been struggling with learning how to navigate and manage my emotional, I don't want to say needs, but just learning how to control my emotions as an adult. I feel like the older I get, my tolerance gets really short and my patience is really thin, to the point where when there's a drastic change in my life that affects me in any type of way, I slip into a really bad emotional roller coaster where I'm really feeling highs and lows with myself, to the point where it's kind of concerning. And I've noticed that they've happened a lot more frequently, not just around myself, but around other people, and that's not okay. So I am checking myself back into therapy. I wanted to already have started, but y'all, I've spent so much money on my mouth this year with going to the dentist, finding out I have sleep apnea again this year. Also finding out I have tongue tie issues, so I've been spending a lot of money on that. I think I've probably spent over $800 to $1,000 in less than 3 months just trying to get my health corrected. And y'all, as much as I, as much as people say, pour into yourself, take care of yourself, what they don't tell you is it's expensive taking care of yourself. Whether it's your using your finances, whether it's your time, your energy, it's expensive and it's hard. It's rough, but I will say that it's been an interesting journey, and that's why I have not started therapy, because I'm trying to budget in when I'm going to start and how that's going to look for me, especially since, once again, I'm moving again in a couple of months. I only signed a 9-month lease, which I know it's crazy, but now that I think about it, I'm actually glad that I signed a 9-month lease so I can get out of here. So, y'all, yeah, I'm really, 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 really wanting to start therapy next month, but if I don't, I'm giving myself to start therapy by no later than August of this year. And by starting, I mean I've already had a consultation and I've budgeted out to where, okay, this is what I want to start. And it probably would be better to start after I move. That way I kind of can re-budget and reorganize my finances. But I know I need to go to therapy ASAP. And I think this year I've also just, I've really learned that I'm really disappointed in myself in a lot of areas. And I'm not trying to make this a negative check-in. I'm just, you really got to have those difficult conversations with yourself in order to figure out how you need to grow, what areas you need to grow in, and how you want to achieve that. And so I'm just having to give myself some love, some tough love. I'm not being mean to myself. I'm just being honest with her. Because you yourself, your body has its own personality outside of you. And that's something I've really learned with her. We've been going at it in a lot of areas that I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm not liking this. She likes it, I'm not liking it, or I like it, she don't like it. So I'm relearning myself as an adult. I feel like at the age of 28, this is the first time where I really feel like I'm starting to let go of the child-like mindset of me and really tapping into the adult version of the woman that I want to be. And that's been very scary to me, because the childlike version of Lauryn is tied to a lot of people, and I think a lot of people still see me as that child version. And so trying to transition into being a full-time adult, mentally, that has been hard. And I know I still struggle with that based on how, when I was going to therapy, how I was talking to my therapist. I feel like I was talking like I was 12 instead of 26 or 27. So that's something that I've really wanted to do better with, is talking like an adult when it comes to other adults. I'm not talking about friends and other people. Yeah, I'm fine with that, but that's been another thing that I've been disappointed myself with. And just being almost 30 and feeling like I really have nothing to show for myself. And that's been very disappointing. That's why I really this year have started my business, and I bought all the things I need for it, and really have just tapped into my vulnerability to a level where I'm being 100% honest with myself. No matter how somebody else may feel about it, I'm gonna post what I want to post. Of course, being appropriate, but I'm just saying all that to say that I need to give myself what she needs. I think I've deprived myself a lot based on how other people would think and feel about me. But I really have just tapped into what Lauryn wants, even if it's very much out there. I'm like, you know what, we're going to do this because I need to work on my self-confidence. And my confidence has been something I've always struggled with as a kid, but I want to get better with that as an adult. And the only way to do that is to work on it. And I will say this too. For me, it's easier to pour into other people than myself, because when you're pouring into other people, sometimes, at least for me, that's been a good distraction to not focus on myself. And I can't keep doing that. I can't keep pouring into other people and I don't have the energy to pour into myself right now. And I think I've seen a big shift in just how I feel about things this year that has shown me, okay, Lauryn, like, how you have functioned all the way up until now is no longer working. You are a grown woman and you cannot sit here and base your life on how other people are living their life. And I think that's been a hard reality for me this year, is that as an adult, relationships change and you have to live for you. And I'm somebody that I'm so used to living for other people. It feels weird to now fully live for me and understand, like, Lauren, life is life. Regardless of what somebody else doing in their life, you got to figure out what you're doing in your life. And that does not mean be less of a friend, be less of a partner, be less of whatever, however role you are in somebody else's life. But I've had to check myself about the roles that I play in other people's life. That has been the core of my life, is how I fit into other people's lives. And that is messing me up. And it's not their fault, it's my fault, because nobody asked me to sit here and do what I do. I chose to go that route because that made me feel comfortable, and I feel like it gave me some type of security blanket into always having somebody around me. And it's like, Lauryn, we're getting to that point where everybody's trying to figure out what they want to do for their lives. And once again, I'm not saying to not be considerate of other people's feelings, to not have those conversations with people, but I am learning that, and it's scary. That's really terrified me this year. But it's like, Lauren, we're grown. We're not kids anymore. And you know that. But it's certain situations that happen to where it's just like, yeah, Lauren, we're not kids. Like, things are going to change. Life is going to change. But what are you going to do for you? Instead of panicking, what are you going to do? Because everybody only has one life to live, and let's be real, a lot of people are not going to stop living their life for you, so why are you stopping for your other people? Why are you dimming your light based on other people? When, once again, nobody asked you to do that. You willingly chose to do that, and now you want to be mad. It's like, Lauren, no. And that's once again, another reason I'm going to therapy, because I have really, this year, I've been the most uncomfortable in terms of just learning more. The older you get, the more you learn about yourself. And it's like, oh, I don't like that about me. I don't like this, I don't like that. And of course, there are things I do like about myself. Like I said in the beginning, I love the fact that I've been more creative this year. I do love the fact that I'm acknowledging the difficult parts of me that I need to correct. And I love the fact that I'm tapping more into the areas and meeting the needs that I feel like I probably have not met for myself for a very long time. And I think a lot of things this year have hit ahead to where it's like, okay, Lauren, this is not working. This is not working. And it's like, I need to figure out how it's going to work for me. And I think this year, I've been very selfish. And part of me feels guilty and part of me does not. I feel guilty because it's just, this is a new level of selfish for me where I'm really betting on myself. And if I fall, I just fall. But part of me does not feel guilty because I should have done this a long time ago. And once again, I want to feel confident and comfortable in myself. And I think these past years, I have felt more confident, but I think I'm missing that comfortableness. And this year, I've really been doing what I said I was going to do and expanding myself. and allowing my fear to create instead of hindering me, and navigating spaces that I have not touched since I was a child. So I feel like moving on, I know I said a lot, but just moving on, spiritually, that's also been another big part of my life that I have neglected over these last couple of years. I'll be very honest and transparent with that. As a queer Black woman who was raised Christian and want to get back into the church, because it's been a while since I've been into the church, I'm not gonna lie, I really haven't been trying like I need to try, because I think part of it is that I'm scared, I'm nervous, because, and this is going to be another episode, because this also could be another full episode in itself, but when people say come as you are, there's some truth in some parts that's not true in that phrase, in that statement. And so I think I'm just nervous because, unfortunately, even though everybody has their own personal relationship with Jesus, it gets to a point where it's like everybody expects you to have the same relationship as somebody else. You know, if you're doing this versus that, it becomes very controversial, and you're not doing right, and that. I think you just get tired of being criticized based on the relationship you have with God. And I've been doing a lot of research because I'm not a believer of opinionated truth. I need full truth, full transparency. And just, I know that spiritually I need that in my life. I've seen how it is without it, and I don't like that either. So I need some type of spiritual. I know I need to grow in that area, and I know I need to find a place where I feel wanted and welcomed, and not just tolerated. So that's what's going on spiritually with me. And physically, I have started working out, y'all. I just started last week, where this is the most consistent I've been doing some type of workout outside of just straight cardio since high school. So, y'all, I've been very excited about that. I know, like, y'all can't really see, but it's a work in progress. I'm just trying my best not to let myself go. And by that, I mean, you know, when you become an adult, everything becomes around work. And it's so easy just to let yourself go and just get into a motion, get into a routine, and then before you know it, you're 40, and it's like, oh, snap. So I'm just really trying to be proactive and not reactive and taking care of my body, because I do have a lot of family health issues that I do not want to experience for myself. So I've been taking the time to exercise. I don't eat beef. I don't eat pork anymore. I've been really trying to do better with my vegetable intake, my water intake. I just really want to feel good. I don't want to be as tired. I want to make sure that I'm doing all the things I need to do for me. Sorry, my video cut off because I'm running out of storage, so I don't have a lot of time. But all in all, today's video was just, once again, to do a check-in with myself and do a check-in with y'all and really show myself, okay, I think you're making progress, Lauryn, but there's still work to do, and that's okay. And I know this video was not a fun video, but I think it was a needed video. And it's okay to go through those journeys with yourself when you feel very uncomfortable with yourself, but that's because you're molding into a new version of yourself. And so I think I'm just at that place where I'm giving myself the space to grow, to love, to new capacities that I have not really done before, and it just feels weird. But your life is your life, and I think for me, I want to get to a place where I'm not just doing good when there's somebody next to me, but when I'm with myself. Regardless of who I'm with myself, I want to feel the same. So I think that's just something I'm just really, really working on right now. And yeah, y'all. So once again, I love y'all. We love you. Please let everybody know about our podcast. I've been more active on TikTok. You can go to Opposite Sides 23 on YouTube, Spotify. But yeah, y'all. Hope y'all have a good weekend. Peace.